Let me start with something few doctors will tell you. The strength of your legs is one of the most powerful predictors of how long and how well you will live after age 50. In fact, according to a landmark study published in the Journal of Gerontology, lower leg strength is directly linked not only to fall risk and mobility, but also to cognitive function, immune health, and even mortality rates. Yet most people over 50 notice something strange. Even if they stay fairly active, their legs seem to get weaker, slowly, subtly, year after year. Getting up from a chair feels harder. Climbing stairs takes more effort. You might write it off as just getting older. But what's really going on? What's happening is not just about age, it's about signals. You see, your muscles, especially the ones in your legs, respond to very specific biological signals from your brain, your hormones, your nervous system, and even your gut. And after age 50, those signals start to change. If you don't adapt how you eat, move, rest, and recover, those signals start telling your body to break down muscle rather than build it. That's when the slow, silent weakening begins. But here's the good news. Once you understand these signals, you can reverse this trend, often faster than you think, and you don't need fancy supplements or hours in the gym. What you need is the right knowledge, a few evidence-based habits, and the willingness to act before the damage is done. In this episode, we're diving deep into 10 hidden reasons your legs might be getting weaker after 50. From overlooked nutrient deficiencies to neural deconditioning, to inflammation in the gut that's quietly sabotaging your muscle strength. For each cause, I'll share a science-backed solution you can start using today, drawn from neuroscience, physiology, and behavioral psychology. Because this isn't just about muscle, it's about movement, independence, mental clarity, and the kind of energy that lets you show up fully for the people and passions that matter most. Let's get into it. Before you lose visible muscle, something far more subtle and far more powerful begins to degrade: your brain's electrical connection to your legs. This concept is known as neural atrophy, and it's often the first domino to fall in age-related strength decline. In fact, studies from the Journal of Applied Physiology and Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience show that reduced neuromuscular activation often precedes actual muscle loss by years. Let's break that down. Your legs don't move on their own. Every time you stand, walk, or shift your weight, your brain sends an electrical impulse down your spinal cord through motor neurons to your muscle fibers. This pathway, called the neuromuscular junction, is like a high-speed internet cable connecting your brain to your body. The clearer and more frequently this signal is sent, the more powerful and coordinated your muscles become. But after age 50, that cable starts to fray. The brain becomes slightly less efficient at sending those signals. Motor neurons fire less frequently. Some nerve cells even begin to die off, especially if they're not stimulated regularly through complex movement. The result? Muscles that were once fully recruited in daily movements now receive partial activation, like a light bulb dimmed to 60%. You may notice this as slower reaction times, shakier balance, or just feeling less stable on your feet. Here's the kicker. Even if your leg muscles look the same on the outside, they're already functioning at a reduced capacity because the brain isn't lighting them up fully. And the longer those circuits remain underused, the faster they degrade. But the solution is as fascinating as the problem. Neuroscience shows that you can retrain these connections, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. A 2016 study in Neurobiology of Aging found that older adults who perform coordinated leg movements, like step-ups, single-leg balance, you challenge your balance, or intentionally moved with slow, focused control. Many people avoid these drills because they feel awkward or too easy, but neurologically, they are potent. Just like learning a new language or instrument sharpens the brain, learning how to balance on one leg or control a step down lights up your motor cortex, the very area responsible for leg strength. And here's the bonus. Reactivating these pathways doesn't just help strength. It improves reaction time, fall prevention, and even cognitive performance. That's because the motor circuits in the brain are tightly connected to the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, focus, and decision-making. In short, if you want stronger legs after 50, you don't just need to lift more weight. You need to upgrade the signal from your brain to your body. Next time you stand up, ask yourself, is my brain fully switched on right now? Or am I moving on autopilot? Because one of the most powerful anti-aging tools you have is your attention, directed daily to movement that activates both mind and muscle. You've probably heard this phrase, eat enough protein to build muscle. And for most of your life, that advice works well. But after age 50, something shifts, and the same amount of protein that once supported lean muscle now seems ineffective. That's not your imagination. It's a biological phenomenon called anabolic resistance, and it's one of the most underdiagnosed drivers of muscle loss in older adults. Here's what the research shows. Anabolic resistance refers to your muscles' reduced sensitivity to dietary protein as you age. In younger adults, eating a moderate amount of high-quality protein, say 20 to 25 grams, is enough to trigger muscle protein synthesis, the process your body uses to repair and build muscle fibers. But after age 50, that same 25 grams barely gets the job done. According to a 2012 paper in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, older adults often require 40 to 50% more protein per meal to achieve the same anabolic response as someone in their 20s. That means instead of 20 grams, your body may need 30 to 35 grams per meal with the right kind of amino acids to actually build or maintain muscle. Let's make this practical. The key muscle-building signal in protein is an amino acid called leucine. It acts like the ignition switch in your muscle engine. Without enough leucine, the engine doesn't turn on, no matter how much fuel, calories you have. That's why older adults often lose muscle even when they're eating enough total calories, because the meals don't contain enough leucine-rich, high-quality protein spaced at proper intervals. So here's your simple protocol. Protein timing tool, the 3 times 30 rule. Aim for 30 grams of high-quality protein with at least 2.5 grams of leucine 3 times per day, spaced roughly 4 to 5 hours apart. That might look like breakfast, 3 scrambled eggs plus Greek yogurt, lunch, grilled chicken breast plus lentils, dinner, salmon fillet plus quinoa. The timing matters. Muscle protein synthesis is a per-meal event, not a daily total. You need to hit that threshold each time you eat to override anabolic resistance. What's happening in your brain when this occurs is equally fascinating. Leucine doesn't just trigger muscle building. It also activates mTOR, a key regulatory pathway that influences cellular growth, repair, and even longevity. When this pathway is understimulated, your body shifts into a slow breakdown state, favoring catabolism over anabolism, meaning you lose muscle even in a caloric surplus. You may be wondering, can I just take a protein shake or supplement to fix this? The answer is yes, but with conditions. Whey protein isolate, for example, is rich in leucine and can be a great way to hit the threshold, especially for breakfast, which is often protein deficient in older adults. But the most important principle is consistency and spacing, hitting that 30-gram target multiple times a day. Now here's a behavioral tool that makes this easier. Visual anchoring habit. Place a sticky note or reminder on your fridge that says, 30 grams protein 3 times a day. Simple, visible. Behavioral science shows that visual cues boost habit adherence by over 40% in long-term studies. When something becomes seen, it becomes done. If this insight is helping you, consider subscribing. We break down neuroscience like this every week to help you optimize your body and brain, especially after 50. Let me leave you with this. It's not just about eating more protein. It's about eating smarter with precision. Your muscles aren't ignoring your effort. They're just waiting for the right signal. And that signal starts with timing, dosage, and a small daily discipline that pays off for years to come. Let's talk about the powerhouse inside every one of your muscle cells, the mitochondria. These tiny organelles are responsible for producing the energy your body needs to move, recover, and maintain strength. But here's the problem. After age 50, your mitochondria don't work like they used to. They shrink, they multiply less efficiently, and they become sluggish, a phenomenon called mitochondrial dysfunction. And it plays a massive, often invisible role in why your legs feel weaker, more tired, and slower to bounce back from activity. A study published in Cell Metabolism showed that aging leads to a marked decline in mitochondrial density and function, especially in skeletal muscle. The consequence, less ATP, the energy currency your muscles depend on, and more oxidative stress that damages the very tissue you're trying to preserve. But what does that actually feel like? You might experience legs that feel heavy or fatigued even after mild exertion, slower recovery from walks, workouts, or daily tasks, a noticeable drop in endurance or staying power. This isn't just about age, it's about signaling. When you live in a low activity, high sugar, or poor sleep environment, your mitochondria receive the message, energy isn't needed here. So they downregulate, producing less energy and multiplying more slowly. That's why mitochondrial health is as much about your daily behaviors as it is about biology. Here's what the research shows can reverse this trend. Mitochondrial reboot protocol. Move, breathe, fast, and fuel zone 2 cardio, 2 to 3 times per week, 30 to 45 minutes. This is low-intensity movement, brisk walking, cycling, or light jogging, where you can maintain a conversation. Studies show Zone 2 boosts mitochondrial biogenesis, new mitochondria formation, more effectively than high-intensity intervals in older adults. Controlled breath work, 5 minutes per day. Slow diaphragmatic breathing, especially with nasal inhale and long exhale, e.g. 4-7-8 breathing, increases parasympathetic tone. This reduces oxidative stress and improves mitochondrial efficiency. Intermittent fasting, 12 to 14-hour overnight window. Short daily fasts activate AMPK and PGC1A, 2 metabolic regulators that stimulate mitochondrial repair and regeneration. Start with a simple 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. fast and stay well hydrated. Nutrient support. Key mitochondrial nutrients include CoQ10, magnesium, B vitamins, and alpha-lipoic acid. Even a moderate deficiency in these can impair ATP production. Speak with your doctor about safe supplementation if needed. Here's an analogy. Think of your leg muscles like a car engine. The mitochondria are the spark plugs. They ignite the fuel and keep the system running smoothly. If the spark plugs are old, carbon-coated, or malfunctioning, no matter how much fuel, food, exercise, sleep you give it, the engine sputters. It works, but not efficiently. So, if your legs feel weaker despite eating well and moving often, your mitochondria may be the missing piece. A question to reflect on. When was the last time you trained your energy system? Not just your muscles? Energy isn't just a feeling, it's a biological output. And the older we get, the more deliberate we must be in rebuilding that internal power grid. If this type of science-driven, practical content helps you take charge of your energy and strength, consider subscribing. We're building a community of people over 50 who refuse to settle for slow decline and instead choose daily habits that restore vitality from the inside out. Because stronger legs aren't just about lifting more, they're about creating more energy at the cellular level. And that starts with small daily inputs that your mitochondria can understand. One of the most overlooked reasons your legs may be getting weaker after 50 isn't in the muscles themselves. It's in your immune system. This is where the science gets both subtle and powerful. Researchers now know that many older adults live in a state of chronic low-grade inflammation, a condition so common it has its own name, inflammaging. Unlike the sharp inflammation you feel with an injury, inflammaging is invisible. You don't feel it directly, but it quietly interferes with nearly every system that supports muscle growth and repair. Here's what the research shows. Studies in journals like Nature Aging and the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle reveal that elevated levels of inflammatory markers, especially interleukin-6, IL-6, TNF-alpha, and C-reactive protein, CRP, are strongly associated with muscle weakness, reduced strength, and slower recovery in adults over 50. Why does this happen? Because inflammation disrupts your body's ability to repair muscle tissue. After you exercise or do something physically demanding, your muscle fibers experience tiny tears. That's normal, even necessary for strength gains. But if chronic inflammation is present, your body interprets those micro tears as damage instead of stimulus. So instead of rebuilding stronger tissue, it slows protein synthesis and ramps up catabolic breakdown signals. It's like trying to build a house while someone keeps removing your tools. But what's driving that inflammation? In many cases, it starts in the gut. After age 50, changes in gut microbiome diversity, combined with lower fiber intake, reduced stomach acid, and more medications, can lead to a leaky gut barrier. This allows tiny fragments of bacteria, called endotoxins, to leak into the bloodstream. The immune system sees these as threats, even though they're small. The result? Chronic systemic inflammation. So how do we fix this? The Inflammation Reset Protocol, clean up the signal. Here are 4 science-backed strategies to calm systemic inflammation and allow muscle-building signals to take root again. Fiber first at every meal. Soluble fiber from oats, chia seeds, lentils, and vegetables feeds beneficial gut bacteria. These bacteria, in turn, produce short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate, that directly reduce gut permeability and lower inflammatory signals. Daily omega-3s. A meta-analysis from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults supplementing with 2 grams per day of EPA and DHA found in fish oil showed significantly reduced IL-6 and TNF-alpha and increased muscle protein synthesis after resistance training. Movement as medicine moderate exercise, especially walking, cycling, and bodyweight training, is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory tools we have. Why? Because active muscles release myokines, hormone-like substances that reduce inflammation and help repair tissues system-wide. Inflammatory off switch. 4-7-8 breathing chronic stress elevates cortisol and inflammation. Practicing deep breathing, inhale 4 seconds, hold 7, exhale 8, activates the vagus nerve and reduces pro-inflammatory cytokines. Just 2 to 3 rounds twice a day can shift your internal environment toward healing. Let me offer a mindset shift here. When you think about building stronger legs, you might imagine resistance bands, squats, or long walks. But just as critical is reducing the background noise that blocks growth. Chronic inflammation is that noise, and by calming it, you allow your body to hear the muscle-building signals again. You might ask, If I'm not in pain, how would I know if I'm inflamed? Good question. Inflammaging doesn't always feel like soreness. It feels like slower recovery, persistent fatigue, brain fog, or legs that feel like they hit a wall, even when effort is low. That's why this protocol matters. It's subtle work that makes everything else more effective. And if this kind of insight is giving you clarity and tools to act on, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Each week, we decode the science behind strength, aging, and vitality, and turn it into something you can use. Because when you reduce internal inflammation, you don't just get stronger legs, you get a stronger brain, better moods, and a body that starts saying yes to growth again. Here's a critical piece of the puzzle that almost no one talks about, yet it may be the single biggest reason seniors experience sudden loss of strength, stability, and power after 50. You are losing your type 2 muscle fibers, the fast twitch fibers responsible for explosive strength, quick reactions, and upright balance. These fibers are not just for athletes. They are the ones that catch you if you trip on a curb, lift you out of a chair, or stabilize you when the ground shifts beneath your feet. And here's what the research shows. By the time most adults reach 60, they've lost up to 30% of their type 2 muscle fibers, often without realizing it. According to studies published in the Journal of Applied Physiology and Experimental Gerontology, this loss is not only earlier, but also faster than the loss of slow-twitch type 1 fibers. Why? Because fast-twitch fibers are extremely sensitive to disuse. When they're not specifically trained, your body assumes they're no longer needed and begins to deactivate or replace them with fat and connective tissue. Walking, casual stretching, or even yoga, while great for general health, do not activate these fibers sufficiently. So unless you are doing targeted, high-effort, fast recruitment movements, your body is silently shutting down the fibers that keep you upright, responsive, and strong. Here's what's happening neurologically. Fast twitch fibers are recruited only when the central nervous system senses a demand for power or speed. But as we age, we tend to avoid these demands. We stop sprinting, jumping, or lifting anything heavy with intent. As a result, the brain stops activating those fibers and they begin to atrophy. But there's a powerful fix. It doesn't involve heavy weights or risk. It's about intent and intensity. Type 2, activation protocol, fast, brief, focused effort. You can reawaken these fast twitch fibers safely and effectively using short bouts of intentional, high-effort movement. Here's how. Chair stands with power, 2 to 3 sets of 5 reps. Sit in a firm chair. Cross your arms. Stand up as quickly and powerfully as possible, then slowly lower back down. Rest for 30 seconds between sets. This single drill recruits fast twitch fibers, especially in the glutes, hamstrings, and quads. Marching with knee drive, 2 sets of 10 each side. Stand tall. March in place with high knees, driving your arms with intent. Focus on speed and coordination, not just motion. Tempo step downs, 3 reps each leg. Step down slowly from a stair, 3-second descent, then push back up quickly with the lead leg. This contrast between slow and fast improves recruitment. Mini bounding, optional advanced. Light hopping in place or skipping drills, if your joints allow, can also reactivate dormant fibers. Do only if cleared by a professional. It's not about how much weight you lift. It's about how intentionally you activate your nervous system to fire fast. Let me ask you, when was the last time you moved with explosive intent, even for just 5 seconds? That's how often you should be activating these fibers. A few seconds, a few times a week. Enough to remind your body, I still need these. Now here's the motivational truth. You can regain lost fast twitch strength at any age. Studies from the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that even 70-year-olds can rebuild type 2 fiber size and contractile strength within 8 to 12 weeks of targeted training. It doesn't matter if you're starting late. What matters is starting now. Because when you reactivate these fibers, your entire system responds. Movements feel sharper, steps feel lighter, your brain feels more alert because it's being asked to coordinate fast, meaningful actions. If you've been finding this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe and share this with someone who might need it. We're building a community grounded in real science and real strength. Your legs are not lost. They're waiting to be reminded of who they used to be and who they can still become. Here's a powerful truth we don't hear enough. Your body is always listening. Every minute you spend sitting, standing, walking, or moving is sending a biological signal, and your body responds accordingly. So when you spend long periods of time sitting, even if you exercise regularly, your muscles start to receive a very specific, dangerous message. You're not needed. This is what researchers call sedentary signaling. And it goes far beyond not enough activity. It's a molecular cascade that downregulates muscle-building genes, inhibits glucose uptake in muscle cells, and even alters your hormonal environment to favor breakdown over repair. A major study from the Journal of Physiology found that sedentary behavior, defined as sitting for more than 6 hours per day, triggers reductions in muscle protein synthesis, insulin sensitivity, and mitochondrial function even in otherwise active adults. That means a 45-minute workout can't fully cancel out 8 hours of inactivity. The key mechanism here, when you sit too long, key enzymes in your leg muscles, especially lipoprotein, lipase and AMP-activated protein, kinase AMPK, start to shut down. These enzymes are essential for energy metabolism, fat burning, and muscle maintenance. Once they go quiet, your body begins to treat your legs like inactive tissue and starts slowly breaking them down. It's not about movement volume, it's about movement frequency. So how do you reverse sedentary signaling? The anti-sedentary protocol. Microbursts of movement. The goal isn't more hours in the gym. It's interrupting long periods of stillness to keep your muscles metabolically active. Here's a practical approach, the 30-30 rule. Every 30 minutes, stand up and move for at least 3 minutes. Walk around, do a few calf raises, stretch your hips, or just shake out your legs. These micro movements reactivate enzyme activity and keep blood glucose levels stable. Anchor movement to habits. Phone rings, stand up and pace. Watching TV, march in place during commercials or episode transitions. Brushing teeth, do 15 bodyweight squats or toe touches. These anchor points make movement automatic, reducing decision fatigue. Pre-lunch activation burst. Just before your biggest meal of the day, do 2 minutes of bodyweight movement. Squats, leg swings, stair climbs. This activates GLUT4 transporters in the muscle, which improves nutrient partitioning and reduces fat gain from meals. Evening reboot walk, 5 to 10 minutes. After dinner, take a short walk, even inside your home. This light activity boosts overnight recovery, regulates blood sugar, and improves sleep quality. Now ask yourself, how much of your day is quietly signaling your body to weaken? Because strength isn't just built in the gym, it's preserved in the spaces between your workouts. Every hour you spend idle is either helping or hurting your muscle health. Here's a motivating reframe. You don't need more time, you need more intention. Just 3 minutes every 30 minutes is enough to wake your muscle machinery back up. These micro signals stack, creating a hormonal and metabolic environment that supports strength, longevity, and vitality. And if you're someone who's already exercising, that's great. But remember, if the other 23 hours of your day are sedentary, your body will default to conserve and weaken, not repair and grow. So move often, move small, move with purpose, because your muscles are listening and they respond to the language of action. Let's take a step back. We've covered a lot. and not just facts, but a new way of thinking about your body, especially after 50. Because leg weakness isn't inevitable. It's informational. It's your body saying, pay attention. I'm waiting for new instructions. Let's quickly recap the 6 hidden reasons your legs may be getting weaker and what the science shows you can do about them. Neural atrophy. Your brain's connection to your muscles fades with age. Solution. Wake it up with balance, precision movement, and neural drills like single leg stands or slow step-ups. Anabolic resistance. Your muscles no longer respond to protein like they used to. Solution. Hit 30 grams of protein per meal 3 times a day with leucine-rich foods. Mitochondrial decline. Your energy factories slow down, leading to fatigue and slower recovery. Solution. Zone 2. Cardio, breathwork, intermittent fasting, and key nutrients like CoQ10 and magnesium. Chronic inflammation. Low-grade inflammation blocks muscle growth signals. Solution. Fiber-rich meals, omega-3s, daily movement, and parasympathetic breathwork to lower inflammatory markers. Type 2. Fiber loss. The most powerful muscle fibers shrink first, unless activated. Solution. Intentional fast movements like chair stands, tempo drills, and light power training. Sedentary signaling. Inactivity sends your body the message to break down muscle. Solution. Break up sitting every 30 minutes with 3 minutes of low-level movement to restore healthy enzyme activity. So what does all this mean? It means that weakness is not just about getting older. It's about what you signal your body to become. Every time you move with intent, eat with strategy, or rest with discipline, you're not just avoiding decline. You're building strength at the cellular, neurological, and hormonal level. That's real resilience. That's science in motion. And that's what we're here to do. Now, if you take one thing from this entire talk, let it be this. Your muscles don't age on their own. They respond to stimulus. They are waiting for clarity, and it is never too late to re-educate them. So here's a challenge for today. Simple, powerful, and science-backed. Stand up right now and do 5 power chair stands. Explode upward, control the descent. Feel the connection, feel the intent. That's your brain, your nervous system, and your fast twitch fibers saying, message received. And from here, pick just one protocol we covered today and commit to it for 7 days. That's it. 7 days of consistency. Because the real secret isn't in complexity, it's in repetition. Small science-based actions stacked daily lead to exponential results over time. And if this resonated with you, if something clicked and you now understand your body in a new way, then subscribe, like, and comment below. Let us know. Which of these 6 tools will you try this week? This isn't just a channel. It's a community of people refusing the myth of decline and choosing instead to train for strength, clarity, and independence well into our later decades. You deserve to move with power. You deserve to stand tall, and the science is on your side. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and most of all, stay moving.